Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another best of 3 match series from the March Korean Champions Trophy Tournament. This is going to feature Seed SG, who, if you saw the previous videos, has moved up to the next round to face off against his opponent, I'm Lucera. This is going to be taking place on Shakura's Plateau, Xel'Naga Caverns. Just cast that game on Shakura's Plateau a little bit ago, so still have it fresh in my mind. Very exciting game. If you haven't already watched those, make sure you are caught up to date on everything. Just click on my name up at the top and you can check out all the videos that lead up to this point. Now, this is quarterfinals for the Korean tournament. Grand prize, $250, and I don't think I've actually had the chance to watch Lucera play so far in this tournament. This is going to be the first game, so I'm looking forward to see what he's going to bring to the table here. One of the upcoming players, I believe he won the Code A Invitational in March. I think he might qualify for Code S this time? I don't know. I have to look and actually find that information out. But in the meantime, though, I'm always happy to have a Zerg in this tournament. For those of you who may have watched the live stream previous months, you know, we always have a lack of Zerg. It always kind of bugs me a little bit. But for the most part, they're pretty entertaining games there, as Seed SG hoping to do a little bit of harassment, as Lucera going ahead and dropping that X14 Extractor. Looks like he's also going to try to drop that pool. Oh, blocked! Denied by Seed! Look at that! He's actually delaying that for a good few seconds there. Finally, the pool will be going down. Good use of that probe indeed. We see Seed SG, meanwhile, down here at the bottom of the map, sitting at about 350 minerals right now, almost sitting at 400. It looks like he's definitely going to go for that expansion before the gateway or the forge or anything like that. Pylon already hanging out down here. You can see he's got good power coverage. It's going to be able to drop a nice little wall right here. That's pretty typical for what we've seen in this build so far. One of the weaknesses of this build, something that Protoss is going to have to watch out for, make sure no units can run by. It's something that could be happening here, as you can be vulnerable before you drop the cannons, before you get like a zealot or two. Or even, you know, if you do have your structures placed correctly, you could just block it off with one zealot. It all depends on what you want to do. But for now, we'll look to see exactly how the Zerg player decides to deal with that. As you see, he does have his first drone heading down towards this part of the map as we speak, where he will see the forge, and blocked off right there with the scouting. Nice placement of the photon cannon, forcing that drone to go all the way around and then finally up into the Protoss base, where he will actually look to kill it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think this drone is going to live to get out of the base, though. You see the cannon building right now. No, he actually is going to go ahead and evacuate that now, so I think it will live after all. Gateway going down, looking pretty good. We see a little bit of early pressure coming from the Zerg. This is pretty typical response for when dealing when you got these early expansions, but when you got the cannons up like this, there's not a lot you can do to the Nexus or any of these structures right here. This area is still vulnerable to a run-by. You could send the Zerglings around here, past the mineral line. A little bit risky, though, as, you know, the first sign of a sentry, plop down a force field, good to go. Let's see exactly what Lucera is going to do. He might decide to try to kill a probe or two. Hey, you might as well. Oh, so very close. Almost nailed one of them. Alas, not able to. Meanwhile, up here in the Zerg base, we see the expansion of his own has gone down, obviously later than his opponent, but still, nonetheless, a little bit of a risky move here. We see he's taking 2 expansions, so he's hoping to get one base up on his opponent. As we see, here comes the probe right here. He's going to pop into the base, realize second queen. Now, you see he's working with all this extra money right here. The probe, if he was paying attention right before he died, he probably saw no drones were working on this extractor. There's no extractor here at all. All this money's got to be dumped somewhere. So there's either another expansion or he's going to face an attack very soon, which could very well happen looking at the number of links here. But I'm sure the Protoss is thinking right now there's at least a chance that there's another expansion somewhere else on the map that he just simply has not found yet. Now here comes Zerg with a bunch of speedlings going to be coming down. It looks like they're going to try to wrap around the back of the expansion, maybe get into the mineral line, take out a few probes here. Maybe not. It looks like they're actually indeed going to just run past entirely, trying to catch the probes. Look at that, getting up to the top of the ramp there, and now going into the main base. Protoss is in a tiny bit of trouble here. You see, he has already lost a couple probes. He does have a zealot and a sentry, so he's going to be able to drop a force field down, try to block him off there. Sure enough, there it goes. As you see, a few of the Zerglings were able to make their escape and are going to try to delay the Protoss economy for as long as possible. Look at the number of probes that are running around right now. That is all that money that the Protoss just does not have right now. Zerg is trying to catch up. You see he's even just finished this expansion a minute or two ago. His own mineral line looking pretty good. You can see it's 1100 to 600 right now, 33 to 35, as those probes are still chasing those Zerglings around in his base. You see he's actually sending a bunch of them back now, realizing I have not been mining way too long. You know, the income from that has really helped close the gap that was created by Seed SG creating that earlier, or that expansion earlier than his opponent. And now with the inclusion of this one as well, we can expect to see the Zerg economy continue to go up, even as the fact that the Protoss is now even with the supply, or the harvester count rather. You see also Protoss working on 2 geysers, soon to be 4. All in all, looking pretty good for both players right now, as we see Seed SG is actually temporarily supply blocked. I'm sure that'll be fixed in just a minute or two, as we got 2 pylons being built right here. Actually, that's going to be a long time right now for him to be supply blocked right now. You see the gap is actually expanding 44 to 61. This expansion is starting to get saturated up here. This one's looking pretty solid. You see he's got the Baneling Nest. He might actually try to go with the low tier push to defeat this expansion, which, looking at what the Protoss has right now, you see he's got an additional 4 gateways on the way, as well as Warp Gate technology just now finishing. Also going for that ground armor level 1. You'll notice the lack of a certain something, a robotics facility. So we're not going to have any Colossi anytime soon here, and, well, we don't really have any tech structures. We just have the Forge. We might have one drop in just a minute. Sure enough, there's the robotics facility. But looking at the unit composition right now, 38 Zerglings are running around trying to destroy these rocks, doing a few different things here. And they might actually decide to go and attack. Nope, not going to happen after all. Always a good thing for Zerg to go ahead and knock out these rocks so he can continue to expand the creep up here and shorten the run distance between the 2 bases. And looking over here, we see he's actually continuing to chrono boost up that upgrade. Probably go ahead and get weapons level 2 here pretty soon, as he's destroying his own set of destructible rocks. Now, has he actually explored down here? No, he has not. He does not know that Lysira has this expansion over here. All he knows is that the Zerg player has the natural. And we see, meanwhile, Zerg, he's got a pretty good idea of what's going on right now. The only thing he hasn't seen are the 4 additional gateways. You've also got the Twilight Council up here that was just built a moment ago. But he's got so many Zerglings, man. Look at that. He's running around with 50 Zerglings. And he's still got that Baneling Nest, just now starting to research Baneling Speed. Going for the Zerglings surround right now. Look at those force fields, man. Blocking off the Zerglings. Now they're just going to be running around, chickens with their head cut off, while these Force Sentries are thinking, oh god, oh god, oh god, I'm going to die, oh god. Sure enough, there we go. But not before taking out a surprising number of Zerglings there. Those force fields, very well placed, allowed him to live a lot longer than he would have otherwise. Now, looking at the gas, we can see both players are sitting at a pretty decent amount. You see Protoss actually sitting close to 800 minerals there, almost 500 gas. Look at the supply discrepancy though, 69 to 107. And as far as the actual army size, you can see 25 to 31 for the Protoss player compared to 5783. That is a pretty darn huge gap right now, folks. So we'll look to see the Zerg player try to expand that even more through the use of the Zerglings and the Banelings. Meanwhile, however, the Protoss may decide to go up there and spot out that high-yield expansion. No, it looks like he does have the Observer, though. He sees the Zerglings, realizes he just does not have the unit composition to deal with that. Even though the fact that he is bringing in more Blankstalkers, and he's also got that Dark Shrine on the way. You'll notice still no Colossi, no Psystorm, nothing that can be really super effective at dealing with the Zerglings. Not even a whole lot of Zealots, man. He's just got 5 of them right there. So, of course, that is the one thing you have to take into consideration. The Banelings, they do make up a decent amount of this army right now. You see they're even charging forward right now. Front lines, they're probably going to have to force the Stalkers to blink away. Sure enough, the blink has been blown. Oh, that sounds terrible. Well, whatever. That's okay because there's another surround here by the Zerg player taking out a bunch of those Blink Stalkers and forcing the probes once again to head away from their mining center and hang out in the main base. You see the Zerg is actually forced to retreat there because of positioning. He would have suffered a lot of losses right there, and with the fact that the Protoss player can warp in a bunch of Zealots and deal with that pretty quickly, he realized, you know what, looking at the supply count, I know I'm sitting in a pretty good position. 75 to 125, 131. as he's making a bunch more Zerglings. Now, look over here. Notice that he did see... Actually, show you the Zerg vision there. He did see the Dark Shrine, so he is aware of the fact that he has to get out some detection. Sure enough, we see right here there's a Spore Crawler right there with a Spine Crawler, and that DT is just running for its life, man, even from the Queen. Not a lot that can be done at this point about it. Another DT is coming right here, and one final DT is going to be running around over here. I do want to point out there's another one running to that expansion once again. Not going to be super effective, but you look right here, there's detection. It's not going to be very effective. It may kill that Queen so very close. Oh, no, it looks like one more hit. It would have killed it. Fun. This DT is actually going to be able to get some kills here. We see it's at 4 of them right now, but there's an Overseer and a bunch of Banelings and the Overlords. Oh, man, Lecira could be looking to finish the game here as he is just running in for what could be the final attack. I say that because you look at the composition once again, 94 to 161, folks. I mean... Just look at it. You know, there's so many Zerglings running in here, and with the Banelings on the ground and in the air, there's really not a lot the Protoss can do about it. Even if he were to blink down here into this corner and try to stay away, the Banelings would just drop on the Stalkers, and that's gonna be oh man, look at that! How many probes just died from that beautifully placed Baneling drop? Took out all of the probes, forcing a GG from Seed SG, who's gonna be down in the game number 1. So let's go on to game number 2 and see if it's 2-0 shutout or if we're going to go on to game number 3.